Hey everyone! So this is what Jessica sent us, and then here are her guidelines for the month. So her favorite paper collection from every catalog, she says, is the Mix-Ins. So she sent us a sample from the Mix-Ins, and I have to agree, I did not see the versatility of the Mix-Ins until recently, but they really are amazing. So to these Mix-In pieces she gave us, we can add any neutral cardstock. So the first thing I did is went and tried to find some photos. So I have this photo, these are on the same date, and this is my older brother, and then my mom and dad and my Aunt Sue, and this again is my dad in that photo. And I just loved, I don't know if you can see if the light's showing up, but this is from 1968 or 1970, excuse me. And I just love all the colors in his little outfit there. And then of course the bold stripes on my aunt's shirt. So I thought that we needed to kind of capitalize on that orange red tones. And so of course this works perfectly. But then some of the other shades in this, I pulled out because she told us we could use any neutral cardstocks. So I pulled out one that was French vanilla cardstock. My camera, I don't know if it overheated or it got too much on the disc, but anyhow, it cut off there. But French vanilla, black, and then toffee. And I chose toffee because I'm going to bring in my pattern papers from the Cosette collection. I have just been loving it. And of course, the papaya is one of the colors in Cosette, and that just works to help highlight those shirts that I'm trying to bring out in the photos. Because the background of the photos are so dark, I'm trying to highlight those. And then I'm just telling you that the other things that Jessica said that we could do is bring in any pattern paper from any of the 3 kits or collections in our current book. So Cosette, Hey Handsome, or Hello Darlin'. Obviously I'm chose Cosette. And that we could add one accent cardstock, which I have chosen as papaya. So I took all of the pieces that Jessica sent and I cut them down into squares. So I got 2 2x2 squares and then 4 1x1 inch squares out of what Jessica sent. And then I'm augmenting it, as I've said, with papers from the Cosette collection. And I'm just kind of, I have an idea in mind. I saw a layout on Pinterest and she did it differently, but I kind of had this idea in mind of putting the diamonds down the page or the squares down the page. And so I'm just trying to see how it will work. I also feel that for my heritage album especially, I'm really liking these framed pages. So I pulled in the toffee cardstock, because that's a neutral, against the French vanilla cardstock, and I'm making, like here it looks like it's just a 3/4 of an inch frame around it all, and I'm just trying it out. I haven't cut anything yet, but I end up doing a full 1 inch frame just to make it chunkier. I think it balances with the chunkiness around the Polaroid photos that I'm working with. And then in the Pinterest photo or inspiration piece, she kind of had to strip down the center of her squares, and I'm not feeling that. I use the zip strip and I'm not feeling that. So I decided to set that aside, and I am one of those people that I'll do the next right thing, kind of from Frozen. So inked the edges of all the squares, and then I'm showing you here how I use the Versamat and the line on the toffee cardstock, because I have cut that down now. I knew that that's what I wanted, did the full 1 inch frame, and then to make sure that all of my square pieces are going to be identical or very similar, I just stack them up one on top of the other, add glue to that little corner, and then again just make sure that the second piece is aligned to everything behind it. So I've inked all the edges, I've aligned them all, and now I'm pulling out the 1 inch squares that I have. So instead of doing the strip down the center, I thought maybe I could stack these 1 inch squares down the center, and I really am liking how that's coming together. It's actually working out better than I thought it would. Originally I thought I would be peppering in these 1 inch squares kind of to the outside, almost like as bursts coming out of my diamonds, but instead I'm going to make a layer out of the center, and I really like how that turned out. So I have matted the Polaroid photos with just black and then on the papaya cardstock. And I did copy the information from the back of the photos. My granddad was great at putting on a date and who was in the photos. There's often addresses of where the photo was taken, and I just thought that's awesome. So I make a copy of that before I mat my photos. And then here I had more of those 1x1 squares, and I thought, oh, what a perfect way to kind of get some balance on my page, tie my diagonal look in, and give interest to my journaling is what I call it. With these heritage albums, it's kind of freeing. I don't have to worry about titles as much. My journaling for the most part is typically done for me because of the information my granddad wrote on the back of the photos. But I don't know anything more than who's in this and the date that they were there. I'm not even sure if they're in West Virginia or where they're at. So I'm kind of dry fitting. I don't actually push these photos down fully yet. And then I realized I needed more room in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and push both photos towards the outside, get that information in the center, and then I push everything down. So I've grabbed the sticker sheet from the Cosette paper pack. Jessica asked us to use something new, either a stamp set or paper pack that we haven't used yet, a thin cut something. I have been running around with my hair on fire the last few months, and so I've only really ordered Cosette and the other two paper packs. I have a stamp set, the mice from the National Scrapbooking Day, but I didn't feel that worked with the Cosette papers and the feel of my brother and aunt and that in these photos. So I did dig into my stash and I pulled out some buttons. Again, not new to me. I've actually been using some buttons recently in my videos, but I just thought that was a great eye focal. It didn't take up too much, like it didn't take away from those diamonds, the small diamonds in the center, but it just gave some interest to this. I don't know if it's a vignette or cluster that I'm creating over here. And I grabbed some of the red line score tape and just put it right down the center of the diamonds, and then I put all of the different buttons on it. Off camera, I have taken some stickers off and used my embossing buddy to powder the back of them so that, again, I can dry fit without them sticking on. I did do pop dot under the bouquet of flowers and the basket in the bottom right corner just because those Polaroids are so tall, it would have ended up bending that sticker. And this is it. So Jessica, I apologize that I didn't use something new that I haven't played with yet. I don't have anything that was going to work with how the rest of this layout went. I loved this challenge. I'm excited to see what everyone else did. You can check out what they did in the description below my video. All the supplies will be listed there as well. Send some love. This is how you can connect with me on Facebook and social media. Blessings.